going to do a tune now let me do this one real quick here. So I started playing Native American flute about 15 years ago. A lady by the name of Ruth Randall, who's no longer with us, walked up to me at the Nutmeg Dulcimer Festival. I was sitting on the steps during lunch, and she walked up to me and she goes, "Bing, I don't know why, but I think you need to play this flute." And it wasn't this flute exactly, but she had a flute. And, I'm a former clarinet player, and I can play a little woodwind. And I'd never even been in the same room as a Native American flute. And so I said, sure. And so I took it and I closed my eyes, covered the holes, and started playing it. I thought, wow, this is easier than I thought. It's kind of easy. It's nice. It's got a nice, warm, soothing sound. And I opened my eyes, and there were like 6 people standing around looking at me. They were like, "You didn't tell us you played flute." I said, "I guess I do now." So I started playing it, and so I'm forever grateful to Ruth for introducing me to this instrument. It's 4,000 years old. The Plains Indians created it, and it is indigenous to the North American continent. It's made of wood. It's easy to play. It's a perfect dancing partner for the Mountain Dulcimer, which is also indigenous to the North American continent. It's also made of wood, and it's also easy to play. So I'm going to do a little dance with both of them with a song that God gifted to me, because I know I didn't write it. It's way too good for it to pop out of the oven and be like, "Ta-da, here's a song for you." I'm like, "Thank you. I can borrow this for a while." What's it called? I have no idea, so I'm just going to not name it. I'm not worthy. This is a great song. I'm going to share it with y'all. So I would tell this story all over the place. Play this tune with the flute and the dulcimer, and that God gave it to me to share and borrow for a while, and I wasn't qualified to name it. Until one summer in Baltimore, Maryland, a lady came up after the show, and she said, "That song with no title that you played, to me it sounds like a sweet river, and I think you should call it that." The first gift was getting the tune in the first place. The second gift was having Hazel Lindsay of Baltimore, Maryland name it. This is called Sweet River. And I'm going to use something called looping. We talked about looping earlier in the workshop, so I'm going to lay down the dulcimer part, and then as it plays back, I'm going to play the flute over the top of it. you.